like I said, thank you guys for, behaving and for the most part getting your work done. That was not the case for neither two classes, so I do appreciate your hard work yesterday. Before we jump into our lesson, I wanna go over some of the homework questions just to make sure we do understand what we're doing. So get your homework out from last night. We are gonna be turning it in, but not at this moment. If you do not have your homework, just have your notebook out to the page where your homework is supposed to be. Oh, it's okay, or rip it out. If it's glued into your notebook, do not worry, don't rip it out of your notebook. So first and foremost, what are your questions from yesterday? Like, cause I know I wasn't here, with having to do the multiplying and dividing kind of on your own. I was a little concerned, but you guys did really well with, what's it called? With adding and subtracting, so I felt like you could handle it. So do you guys have any questions about any of these problems from yesterday? None? Yes.
The last one, question 9.
Question 9, okay. So, question 9, you have 12x equals 69 and 6/10. Now, when you're going over this, what operation is going on between the 12 and the x? Camden.
You're multiplying them.
Okay, so if they're multiplying them there, what do we have to do?
The offset operation.
Which is?
Division.
Alright, so we have to divide by 12 here, that cancels. So then I'm going to have to do 69 and 6/10 divided by 12. Well, what can I multiply 12 by to get close to 69 without going over? Corey, what'd you put?
I put 5.
Okay, and 12 times 5 is what?
60.
Perfect. Bring the 9 down, and then we have to bring our 6 down. What can we multiply 12 by to get 96? No. You said 8? Okay, so then your answer for this is x equals 5 and 8/10. And then how we check this is what? What do we have to do with our answer? What do we have to do? When we know the value of x, in order to check, we have to do something here. Okay? Yes, so essentially you would plug that back in and do 12 times 5 and 8/10, and it should give you the 69 and 6/10. Okay? Any other ones you wanna go over? Alright, I wanna go over number 7. Okay? So number 7 is x divided by 7 equals 4. Alright, so what do we have to do here? What do we have to do here? Or let me rephrase my question. What operation is going on in x divided by 7 equals 4? William? You don't have to have the paper. What operation is going on in there? So x divided by 7 equals 4. Okay, so what is the opposite of division? Alright, so I have to multiply this by 7, which cancels that out, and then I have to multiply 4 times 7. What is 4 times 7? 4 times 7. Aiden. 28. Alright, and then how do I check to make sure that this is right? What do I have to do? Jonathan. I don't know, what number are we on? Why are you not paying attention? No, we already did 9. We're on number 7, son, pay attention please. You have to swap it? No. So you have to substitute it back in? So 28 divided by 7 does give us 4, so we know that we are correct. Alright, so overall, how did you feel about multiplication and division? Because you were supposed to write a sentence or two down here. Hopefully you guys did that. So how do you feel about it? raise your hand and just kind of tell me what you wrote. Noah?
I thought that was harder because there's more steps in division than there are in multiplication. I mean, than there are in addition and subtraction.
Okay. Process-wise, did you understand what you were supposed to do though? Okay, so process-wise, it was still fairly easy. It's just knowing that you have to do more division and whatnot makes it a little bit harder. Okay? All right, who else? Camden?
I wrote that I think it's easy because all you have to do is the inverse operation,
Okay.
but it's a little harder with the decimal because you have to do extra steps.
Okay. So that multiplying and dividing with the decimal does add a little bit of unknown to it. All right, anybody else want to share? Zoe, you gave me a middle phone. Why?
That was because for column A and 9, I didn't really understand that much, but then I really did, so.
Okay, do you want to go over question 8? Nope, you're there.
I figured it out, but,
Do you think is it just because there are decimals in those?
yeah.
Okay, and that's fine, guys. Just understand, like, it's not always just gonna be either you divide this number or you multiply this number. There are gonna be decimals, there are gonna be fractions. All right. Any questions from your homework that you wanna go over from last night? I felt like these were fairly easy questions. Most of the problems we we probably could have done in our head. I mean, that's to me how easy they were. So there are no questions, and you don't have this glued into your notebook. Go ahead, turn it into the first period bin. If you have it glued into your notebook, I'm just gonna have you come show me at a later time during today. Okay? All right, go ahead and turn the page then in your notebook and copy down the title for today. You are gonna need a highlighter or a marker or grade or color pencil. Take out, do you need an eraser? Right, because I have a cal eraser. Okay, we're gonna hold you today when I have time. I mean, that's all I can do right now. And just try to bring your homework tomorrow. All right, again, get out a marker, pen, and pencil, highlighter, whatever you like to use. Say that when you are ready. top of it, fill in the blank information up here. Says equations can be used to find missing blank and to solve blank. What do we do? What do we put in there? Can you look back at your notes from the other day that looks just like this and maybe make that make sense?
Questions can be used to find missing variables.
Not variables, but what?
Inequalities.
No.
Inference.
And for
Information and problems.
equations can be used to find information and to solve problems. Alright, so number 1 says, the cell phone bill recorded that Jeremiah sent 532 text messages last week. On average, how many text messages did he send each day? Alright, so what do we know that is important in that first sentence? Mikael? Okay, and with that being said, what do we know 532 text messages is standing for? Yes. Mikael, what does it stand for? So again, just use a word that makes more sense to everybody. What does it stand for? It's the total. Alright, so with knowing that that is the total, we are going to have to do a little bit inferencing with some of the other information. Why is last week important? Why is last week important to us? Delilah? Well, this week might be different, but it's not asking us about this week, right? It's asking us about, on average, how many text messages did he send each day? So why is knowing like last week important? What do we know about a week? Camden?
It has 7 days.
Has 7 days. So therefore, that is telling us that we are going to be using the number 7. Alright, so I know that the total was 532. I also know that a week equals 7 days. What do I need to know? What am I trying to figure out? So I need to know, Troy.
How many he sent each day?
Okay, so our total is 532. We know that's going to equal something, right? So are we multiplying 7 times x or are we dividing? Now I'm talking about the equation. I'm not talking about what we're actually going to do. Alright, so stand up if you think we are multiplying and doing 7x for our equation. Alright, have a seat. Stand up if you think we're going to do x divided by 7. Have a seat. Your equation is going to be 7x. You're multiplying 7 times whatever the number is per day, right? Will give us 532. So how do you solve this? What do you have to do? Aiden.
Set the operation.
You have to what?
You have to change the operation.
Which will be what?
Multiplication. I mean, it's actually
Division, because it's multiplication and a problem. So those of you who stood up for division, I know why you stood up for division, but understand that we have to Our equation that we're writing is going to be multiplication. The operation we're doing to find our answer is going to be division. So we're gonna divide by 7 here, divide by 7 there. So 532 divided by 7. What can I multiply 7 by to get close to 53 without going over? If you're not sure, do the math and then raise your hand. Zoe,
You can multiply, 7 by 7, 6 by 49,
you said 7 times 7? Okay, and you said, what does it give me? Not 42.
I was thinking,
49. Okay. Which gives me, so that will give me 42. All right, and then what's the next number? 6. All right, so then x is going to equal 76. Now, how do I make sure that my work is correct? How am I gonna make sure it's correct? Leo.
multiply your answer by 7.
Okay, so I'm gonna do 7 times 76. What is 7 times 6?
7 times 6 is
42,
22.
so I'm gonna carry my 2, carry my 4. What is 7 times 7?
7 times 7 is 49 plus 4 equals 52.
Perfect. So then we know that we are correct here. So how many text messages did Jeremiah send per day the last week? Leave that. Okay. So definitely a little bit more difficult because there are more steps to do, but not entirely the hardest thing you've ever done, hopefully. All right, thumbs up when you have this copy down. All right, number 2. It says on Friday afternoon, Maggie and her 2 friends washed their neighbor's cars in order to make some money. They split the payment equally and each walked away with $3.50. Gosh, trash. How much did the neighbor pay them for washing the cars? All right, so in the first sentence, okay, what is important? What's important in that first sentence? There is one small little bit that is important. Haley? Maggie and her 2 friends, because that's telling us what? How many people? So there's gonna be 3 total people. Alright, the next sentence. What's important in that one? Noah.
They split the payment equally and walk away with $3.50.
Okay, and then the last one says, or what's important in the last question?
How much did the neighbor pay them?
Okay. So what we know is there are 3 people that are doing the car washing. And we know that each one got $3.50. What do we need to know?
How many did they pay? How much did they pay?
Alright. So the total is what? What is our total? Do we know? Are you sure? Do we know how much they got paid each? Yes. Okay, so that is our total. Now, there are some key words in here that tell us what operation is going on in our equation to start with. What are the key words? Delilah.
Each and split.
Well, split, but split what? Split equally. Which tells us we are going to be doing division in our problem. Okay, so what is the opposite of division then? What is the opposite of division, Jeba? Multiplication, so I'm gonna multiply this by 3, that's gonna cancel. I'm gonna multiply this by 3. And I'm going to find out that X equals $10.50. Alright, how do I make sure that that is correct? How do I make sure that's correct? Aiden. I'm gonna plug it back in. So I'm gonna do $10.50 divided by 3. How many times does 3 go into 10? 3 times. How many times does 3 go into 15? And how many times does 3 go into 0? Alright, so that I know that this is correct. So the total cost was $10.50. Alright, questions about this first 2 questions? None? We're good? Alright, let's slide over to number 3. Alright, a deck of was dealt equally among 6, I can't even talk, equally among 6 players. Each player received 7 cards. How many cards were dealt? Alright, so what are we looking for? What's our variable? What are we looking for? Jonathan? No. Not the total number of cards. Troy?
Cards dealt.
Alright, and now let's go through and annotate. So, it says a deck of cards was dealt equally among 6 players. What's important in that sentence? Zoe? What else? Keyword. Equally. And why is that word so important to us, guys? What is that? What operation is that telling us we are doing?
Division.
Division. Alright, and then it says each player receives 7 cards. What's important in that sentence? Noah?
Each player and 7 cards.
Okay, and then the last sentence obviously is how many cards were dealt. Alright, so our equation is gonna look like x divided by 6 equals 7. Alright, so how do we go about solving this problem? What do we have to do? X divided by 6 equals 7. So what are we doing to solve this problem? So we're gonna multiply by 6 here, that cancels, multiply that by 6. X equals what? What's 7 times 6? Olivia? 42. And how do I check to make sure that is correct? What do I need to do? Troy?
42 divided by 6, and then that will equal 7.
42 divided by 6, we know gives us 7. So our answer is x equals 42. Alright, so number 4 is a special one. It's the only special one. Alright, this is where your variable is your answer. Alright, so it says each week you spend $18 on school lunch. At the end of a 36-week school year, how much money have you spent on school lunches? Alright, so what's important in this first sentence? Gemma, what's important in that first sentence?
Each week we spend $18 on school lunch.
So each week, spend $18 on school lunch. Alright. At the end of a 36-week school year, what's important in that section? William,
End of 36-week school year.
the 36-week school year, how much money have you spent on school lunches? Obviously, that whole second part is important because that is our question. So essentially, what is our variable? What are we trying to find? What are you trying to figure out? Kylie,
School lunches.
alright, so what is our equation going to look like? Keyword is each. So what is our equation going to look like? Mikhail, what do you think? So 18 times 36 equals x. Alright, so do 18 times 36, stand up when you have your answer. Alright, Zoe B, what did you come up with when you did 36 times 18? Not 780.
600.
Not 640. What'd you say?
You said
648? Yes. So you spent $648. Alright, so x equals 648. Alright, I want you to do number 5 as a group. What? What? Is that like grab one from there. Just please make sure you return it to me, okay?
I said
Make sure you innovate and stand up when you are. Make sure you're not working ahead.
No. 26 is one side of it. Wait, so it is 26. I got second flag. She changed my mind. That's not my fault. That's what the equation is. Yeah.
The equation is 26 times
No. Inverse operation. Multiplication. So that you can have 6 and a half.
Alright, stand up when you're done.
But this is multiplying and dividing. Yeah, it's inverse operation. So if you put multiplication in your equation, then you have to solve this.
About 20 more seconds.
Yeah, or yeah.
Alright, let's have a seat.
No.
So it says the perimeter of a square measures 26 centimeters. Stop right there. Perimeter of a square. What does that mean? What does that mean? Jonathan? For what?
4 sides
Or
are the sum of 26.
but are all the sides equal? Okay. So you have to remember a couple things. You have to remember perimeter. You have to remember that it's a square and that all sides are equal on a square, and there are 4 of them. It says what is the length of the side of the square? So what are we looking for? What is our variable? What are we looking for? Delilah.
Length of sides.
So we're looking for the length of the side. And then what is our equation? Not how we solve it, but what is our equation going to look like? Zoe? 4x equals 26. Alright, so then from there, what do we have to do? What do we have to do if our equation is 4x equals 26? No,
So operation,
which is,
division.
so I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4. X equals, excuse me, what? So 6.5. And how do I know to make sure, that does not look like this. How do I know to check to make sure that this is correct? What do I have to do? What do I have to do, guys? I need some new friends. William, what do I have to do with 6.5?
Multiply by 4.
Okay, so I'm gonna do 6.5 times 4, and that's gonna give me 26. So x equals 6.5. Alright. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I will let you know that the variable is not the answer in any of those. Okay, so it's gonna be either something times x or something divided by x equals a number. Alright, you are working together on 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We are going to go over them in 10 minutes. Okay, it's not a lot of time. So make sure that you are working and you are working together. If you get stuck, raise your hand or come ask for help. Okay, 10 minutes, go.
Okay, I'm done with all of them.
Alright, so keyword sale, 90%, 6 months, what is the cost per year?
6 months, what is the cost per year? So,
variables? What's the variable? It's not what is the cost per month, it's not the sell, it's not the variable, yes, right? They'll write down. No. Wait, what is the cost?
I can't do
What's the variable? Use this as equation. She said that it wasn't the variable.
Let me say it again for this group. Variable is not going to be the answer for any of this.
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all are arguing about, but enough about that variable.
I don't want to say variable. You were saying variable.
You can say whatever it wants, as long as he knows what it means.
Yeah. Wait, she just said that counts. She already said that. Yeah, let's just do the equation. Let's do the variable. No. Yes, we can. Yes. We're trying to find the answer.
Sally's Bake Shop sells a
No, that's the equation. So then you're
This is the problem. There's no way. Because it's the whole divided by 5. 5 rounds each friend seems 3 rounds, so it equals 5. But Let me fix that.
Has that 3.5 minutes left? No, you're working together. I'm working on that, it's not a big deal.
Each person pays. It's 4 times 50. It's 55. Divide by 5. No, because it isn't any longer. These are equal x.
8 is.
Can't equal x.
So it's 5.
Wait, no, there's 5 of them.
Yeah, 5 times.
5 divided by 6.
I'm trying to find how many brownies are in the box. You were saying 5 times 5?
Yeah, because
That was my fault.
so 5 times x equals 5.
That was my fault, so I'm not gonna like use that.
Okay.
You're welcome, babe.
Like the closest thing we got.
X equals 1120 dash.
That's what I'm saying.
Dollar side. Put the dollar side.
Guys, hurry up.
I was just confused for a second. I was like,
We have 40 seconds left.
got sleepy. I didn't. So, how much will each person eat? The equation is 18 divided by 12.
Alright, let's go ahead and go over these questions. So number 6, it says a Netflix subscription is on sale for $41.94 for 6 months. What is the cost per month? So what is our variable in this problem? Like, what are we looking for? Delilah?
Can you repeat that real quick?
Huh?
Can you repeat it real quick?
So what is the, like, what's your variable? What are you looking for on this line?
Cost per month.
Yes.
Wait.
Alright, what is our equation going to look like? What's our equation going to look like? Kylie? $41.94. Okay, so if it's multiplication here, what do we have to do? Your pencils are down, because I know you did at least 6, 7, and 8, so nobody should have pencils in their hand. No,
Divide.
we have to divide. So when we divide 41.94 divided by 6, raise your hand and tell me, what do you get? What do you get when you do 41.94 divided by 6? Emma, what'd you guys get?
$6.99.
$6.99. And how do you know that that is correct? What can you do?
You can multiply $6.99 by 6.
Yes. And you end up with 41.94. Alright, questions about that one? How we do? Everybody get it? Understand it? Okay. Number 7, it says Sally's Bake Shop sells a box of brownies. Jonah divides the brownies amongst 5 friends. If each friend receives 3 brownies, then how many brownies are in the box? Alright, so what are we trying to find here? Aiden.
How many brownies in the box?
So the number of brownies in box. Alright, what does our equation look like? What does our equation look like, Kaylee? So x divided by 5 equals 3. Alright, thumbs up if you agree with that. And then what is the opposite of division? No? So I'm going to multiply this by 5, I'm going to multiply that by 5. So 3 times 5 gives me 15. X equals 15. How do I check to make sure this is correct? What do I need to do? Mikhail. So I'm going to do 15 divided by 5, which I know gives me 3, so I know I am correct. Alright, raise your hand if you got to number 8. Alright, so you guys did not? Okay, that's fine. Now, if you have not gotten to a problem, you may pick up your pencil and follow along with us. Alright, it says Molly and her 4 friends are attending the opening of a movie. They purchase tickets, popcorn, drinks, and candy for a grand total of $56. They decide it is easiest to split it evenly. How much does each person owe? So what is our variable? What are we looking for here? Kaylee? Person. And then what does our equation look like? What does our equation look like? What do you think? Haley? And then if it's multiplication, what do we have to do that is the opposite of multiplication? Even if you're writing, you should still be able to answer that question. What is the opposite of multiplication, Elisa? So I'm going to divide by 5, divide by 5. X equals what? How much does each person pay? If you're not sure, do the work. If you already did the work, give me a thumbs up. Alright, so we are. What'd you guys get? A what? So $11.20. Alright, and then to check, how do we know that we did this right? What do we need to do?
Multiply 11.20 times 5.
Alright. Number 9. How many of you guys got to number 9? Alright. So it says, in preparation for Thanksgiving, Mrs. Waters orders an 18-pound turkey. She determines that this will be enough to feed 12 people. How many pounds of turkey is she planning per person? Alright, so what is our variable? Like, what are we trying to find, figure out? Even if you didn't do this one, you should still be able to answer this question. Emma, what do you think?
How much each person will eat?
So a pound per person. Okay, and then what do we think our equation is going to look like? What do we think our equation is going to look like? Not how we're gonna solve it, but what do we think it's gonna look like? What is 18? 18 is our what? Somebody said something. What is it? Yes, so 18 is our total. Alright, do we know how many people she wants to feed, right? So we know 12 is gonna go over here. Now, are we multiplying or are we dividing? In our equation. You are multiplying. So then to solve it, we have to divide. Stand up when you have your answer of 18 divided by 12. Alright, let's go over this one. Alright, so what do you get when you do 18 divided by 12? Delilah? Yep. And how do we know that that is correct? What do we need to do? To check to make sure. What do we do with 1 1/2? Y'all are killing me. It's the same process for every single problem. Elisa?
1 1/2.
Yes, ma'am. Which will give you 18. Alright, last one. A rectangle has an area of 82 feet squared. What is the length and the width? What is the length if the width is 10 feet? Alright, so we know that 82 is our answer. And we know that 10 is one of the sides. And how do you find the area of a rectangle? How do you find the area of a rectangle? What's our formula? No. Length times width, length times height. So we're multiplying, right? So what are we going to do with 10? Are we going to multiply or are we going to divide it by x? Because the formula is length times width equals your area, right? Alright, bless you. So, I totally put that in the wrong spot. Sorry, y'all. What are we looking for? Sorry, yeah, I got a little overzealous. Kaylee. Alright, so, how do I solve 82 equals 10x? What do I have to do? What do I have to do here? What's the opposite of multiplication? Levi. So I have to divide. And I have to do 82 divided by 10. Stand up when you have this answer. Alright, what do you get when you do 82 divided by 10? you come up with? Eight times 3? 8 times 10. Because we're dividing by 10. Alright, so when you do 8 times 10, what do you get? Gemma, what do you get when you do 8 times 10?
8.
Alright, and then I do my subtraction and I end up with 20. What do I multiply 10 by to get 20? Leo. So then x is going to equal what? 8 and 2 cents. And how do I make sure that that is correct? What do I need to do? So and I would do 10 times 8.2, which would give me 8. Alright. I hope that you have a fairly good, comfortable feeling about this. Go ahead, get that glued into your notebook. You have an exit ticket today. And you do not have any homework tonight. Unless you don't have your imagination. Or if you did not finish your work from yesterday, you're working on that. Gosh, y'all. Please make sure you put first name, last name, date, and period on this paper. Please also make sure you make a page of this paper so that when I do kind of like grade all this stuff, you have a place to put them all. Do you have your notes and stuff from the last couple days with you? From that? You have your notes. Alright, please make sure you put your first and last name, date, period on this and turn it in. Then, like I said, you're either working on homework from last night, you're working on math, thank you, or makeup work that you haven't completed yet. Yasmin, take your notebook and your notes from the last 7 days and head to the back table.